take these classes. This is what it costs for education. I don't think there is there is no local solution. You have to go, if you want more money in education, you have to take money from somewhere else. It doesn't just work where all of a sudden money appears and you can say, oh, this is for education. You have to cut something somewhere. So where are you going to cut? You need to go to the state with a proposal instead of always just saying, we want money for education, we want money for education. What are you going to cut? What in your community is going to get cut? And Jasmine saying that wealthier students should take longer to get through school and they shouldn't be given classes. Is that really what you said? What did you say?
I said that there's going to be victims either way.
You said that students who are less economically well off should be given the classes for free, and that students who aren't
no, I did not.
are
I'm
going
sorry,
to
I
be
did not
better
say
off.
that the students who
Then
don't
what
have
did
money
you say about
I'm saying that if we go through with contract education, then the victims are students who are financially disadvantaged. If we don't go through with contract education, then the students who could afford contract education are victims.
Contract education is a supplement. It's a supplement. All the same classes are there.
That's not the argument.
That is the argument. You're saying that someone is going
Point
to
of order.
Okay. I'm sorry, but the time is lost. Marco and then Yian.
Okay. So immediately, just from what I'm getting, well, we need to take a DPAC set of questions for the fact sheet, and we agreed to focus on what we as the AS would like to see on this fact sheet. I know I'm getting a lot of arguments for contract education or not, and right now it's postponed. I think right now we should, as Dean Hearn, try to accomplish something today. And I think something realistic that we could accomplish is what we want to see on that fact sheet. And a lot of the solutions that are being proposed, I don't know how we can make them happen right now, but I think getting those questions asked is something we can accomplish today.
I move that we take a vote. Do we support classes not subsidized by the state? I've been trying to get back to that question because we need to answer that before we do anything.
There's a motion on the floor and it's like...
Can't take action. You're discussing here. So, now it's my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, that a couple weeks back, this board voted against contract ed.
We voted against this program, but we didn't vote against the idea of having classes not subsidized by the state, which is essential in making the alternative.
Fine. Just remember, there's no action item on your agenda.
Well, then just so we know where
Point of information. The resolution that we passed did say that we oppose placing the burden from the collective state to the public to the private. So it actually does say that we're opposed to it clearly in our resolution.
Well, okay, we did approve that resolution.
We approved that resolution, that's right.
So the question is already answered. Now we must come with alternatives that for classes that are state subsidized. Just
point of order. Okay, I'm sorry. What do you guys as a board want to address right now? With this discussion is obviously going to,
because we have answers instead.
Yeah, 1 second. This discussion is obviously going to go into Monday's meeting. Do you guys want to attack the fact sheet right now, or do you guys want to attack the solutions right now? Because solutions? I think something that Marco should know, and that the entire board should know, is that the fact sheet, whatever we put on the fact sheet, is going to be based off what kind of plan we want to take.
It should not be based off of a plan. It should be based off of facts. This fact sheet is not based off of facts. It's one-sided. We need a fact sheet that gives pros and cons, not just here's a
fact sheet.
Fact sheet shouldn't be giving pros and cons.
Well, facts. The things that are in this fact sheet are all
I'm going to call stacks right now. Yian.
What isn't true?
1 second. Dean Hearn.
It's like the logic behind
DJ,
why is everyone so upset?
DJ, can you be quiet?
I'm not sure what fact sheet you want to impose. I know you have to ask a question before you start to list the facts. So you need to come up with a question. What is it you want to know?
That's what I was trying to ask. what is it? The student fact sheet in which I created was to describe as we in DPAC, and actually the chair of DPAC really appreciated and liked my fact sheet because of how it was. So the fact sheet we created was for students to inform them about what this program is, what contract debt is. What fact sheet do we want to generate? What's going on in the state, why they're getting cut, what fact sheet do we need?
The problem with the fact sheet that focuses on what contract debt is, it's narrow-minded and looking at solely contract debt, whereas what Ian and I are discussing, and Mark was discussing, maybe I don't know who else, is are we going to provide a fact sheet that tells the students what problem the state is in, what problem public education is in, and then based off of that, then we can start looking at solutions that we want to take. By the way, what kind of solutions does this board want to take? Do we want to take local solutions? Do we want to take long-term solutions? Obviously, you already know what Harrison and I want to do. Okay, and now we're going to continue on with stacks, and please try to keep these questions in mind. What kind of fact sheet do you want to do? What kind of solutions do you want to do?
Okay.
Ian, Josh.
So just one thing that I wanted to clear about that you guys are talking about generally and the whole big picture. It's talking about, like, you know, if you have money, you can come into the country. That's called investment in immigrations. That's actually creating jobs in the U.S. and that's one kind of immigration. It's not all kinds of immigration. Second of all, talking about being rich, earn their money, this is capitalism. This whole country is a capitalism. Private property. It's private property that you protections. Therefore, you can't attack people because they have more money. And there are going to, in capitalism, there are going to be some victims. You can't do, if you don't have money, you can call them victims, they're victims. And second of all, I consider myself for being the director of budget management at this college, community college, at year 2011-2012. I look at short-term accomplishments I can do for students. I don't look for long-term. As a student of San Monica College and a student of California and a citizen in the United States, I look for long-term solutions. And at the board right now, I'm sitting as a director, I would look for short-term accomplishments I can do for students to get them into classrooms, like in 5 months, winter. That's it. I'm going to be out in 1 month, and that's my short-term accomplishment I can do. Outside of that, I'm still going to be a student in the future 2 years or probably for the rest of my life. I'm going to fight for long-term goals. This is not a place that I believe I should fight long-term goals for. I'm fighting for short-term goals for the students. And talking about if that's the thing with what we want to move to, I think we should go for short-term local solutions at the moment and provide a big picture of what's happening to the students. So if this is what it goes, I will first go into suggest for the fact sheets to provide a big picture of facts for the students for California community colleges.
Okay, we have Josh, Judge Binko, Harrison, David, DJ, and Johnny, and Mark.
So briefly, in response to DJ, I do not believe a tax is an attack. I think a tax is how a state funds its infrastructure, funds its institutions. It's not called an attack. Forgive me before you go on text. California is unique in its history. We came together after a brief war, taking it from Mexico, and the gold miners threw together a constitution emulating others, but they put in plenty of loopholes for institutions to not pay. Other states do it. We subsidize multi-billion-dollar record-breaking profit industries, such as the tax industry here in California. We're subsidized. We're giving them money, much less taking money from the banks. Forgive me. It's not an attack. I want to be a rich person one day. Power to you. But I want to be one of those rich people that gives back to these fine institutions that allowed me to become rich. I'd like to give my fair share, a good amount of tax, as other states do. Okay, so to solutions, what I think we ought to be offering to DPAC is the pragmatists won the day. We should be taking the side of the students. It's not up to us to solve a statewide issue. It's not in our capacity to look for market-based solutions or administrative solutions. We need to take a stand against this restructuring in education And I think that should be pointed out in any fact sheet, the grandeur of this restructuring, how 1 in every 3 teachers in K through 12 receive a piece. We need to stop compartmentalizing this to SMC or just to community colleges. They gave out, what is it, 200,000 piece slips to K through 12 teachers. Cal States are freezing enrollment this spring. Seems like everyone's gripped. My point is, I think we ought to be talking about how public education's attack in general. All those figures.
Judge Finkel?
Well, I agree with what Joshua just said. When I moved to California to go to law school, tuition was $49 for law school. Now it's just shy of $50,000. And the question is why? I have 2 questions that I'd give anything to hear you folks analyze. Because it would be helpful to the board to hear your analysis of the answer to these 2 questions. And it might also lay a foundation for figuring out what you want to put into your fact sheet. The first question is, what is the factual basis for the contention that contract education will, by definition, or even at a probability level, work to the detriment or hurt in any way to students who are the subsidized students? I'd like to understand that. I have to tell you very frankly, as of this moment, I don't understand that. My second question is, with respect to long-term goals and short-term goals, why do you have to choose between them? Why can't you do both? You could do both at the same time. I see no inconsistency with that. All my life, I've worked on short-term goals and long-term goals simultaneously. Have to be practical. You do whatever you can do, and you have long-term goals and short-term goals. And I'd like to know why some of the people here think you have to make a choice between the 2. I don't get it.
Okay, so firstly, Santa Monica created an excellent policy to help homelessness. People from other cities moved to Santa Monica. The problem was not solved. It moved from one place to another. It's a bigger, larger structural problem. You don't just solve it in a vacuum in a small, rich community. So what you have to do is recognize that you need a state solution like affordable housing if you want to address homelessness. If you want to address unemployment, you need a state-level solution like educating your citizens, like we did in the 1960s with the original Master Plan for Higher Education. So there's implications that come along with this type of policy, and you have to recognize what those are. So this would be, in a sense, something that